Hello, Moodlings. My name is Dr. Nicole Lunan. I'm a 10-year energy healer and a specialist in emotional intelligence, as well as the CEO and co-founder of MoodMe, a new app that allows you to share over 400 plus moods, emotions, and desires with your lover, thus making communication simple, fun, and super easy. Welcome to our Empath Master Class. Dear empaths, it's time to unleash your superpower. Being an empath is a tricky and sensitive thing to navigate. Our intention with this class is to bring you clarity, tips, and overall knowledge about what it means to be an empath and how to use being an empath as a superpower. Before we dive into the telltale signs of being an empath, I'm going to tell you two different scenarios, and I want you to think about the differences and see if you align with either of them. Scenario number one, you're speaking with a friend who is heartbroken and suddenly you can feel it. An overwhelming feeling of pain in your heart that wasn't there before you spoke to your friend. But once you're locked in and connected, you can instantly take on this particular emotion, almost as if it's happening in your own life or body. You want to do whatever you can to help your friend, to help this pain just go away. The emotional boundaries between you and your friend are weakened as you experience life through another person. And while it's not possible to truly experience what another is going through, you see the pain and you understand it, and you connect other situations that you've experienced before to it. But wait, why am I feeling this pain so intensely, you ask? It didn't directly happen to me, so why do I feel responsible for helping and possibly stopping it? After you leave your friend, the feeling of heartbreak doesn't fade easily. You think about it, mull it over in your mind, and you begin to place yourself in your friend's shoes, as an attachment to helping this person overrides your logical sense of separating your life from theirs. You may feel drained, tired, as if your heart was too open and it sponged in what it could in its attempt to heal your friend. Scenario number two, you're speaking to a friend who's heartbroken, but you have prepared yourself going into this. You put your empathy hat on and allow your friend to express their emotions freely and honestly. You are creating a safe container for them to hold space for their emotions and their pain. You listen and you ask engaging questions to help further their exploration. It's tempting to internalize this pain and allow it to bring you into your own experiences, but you stay very present. You allow your friend to feel seen and heard. You feel the physical pain of your friend radiating in their chest, so you decide to embrace your friend in a hug full of warmth and love. You place yourself in their shoes, but you don't go overboard and take their pain on. After you leave your friend, you close the container and send it off with love. Yes, you process what has been said, but you do not attach to it and internalize it. You understand that it is not your responsibility to save your friend from heartbreak. You know that you've done all that you can. Although heartbreak is hard, it's so valuable to create lessons for your friend, and you give space for that. However, the information gathered during this meeting with your friend has furthered your view of humanity and the depths of emotion itself. Did either of these stories resonate with you? If so, which of these stories resonated with you the most? The difference between these stories to me is an empath who is very spongy and takes on the emotions of the world, and an empath who has unleashed their superpowers and has honed in on their ability to feel, understand, and yet still maintain healthy boundaries. What is empathy? Empathy is the ability to recognize, understand, and share the thoughts and feelings of another person, animal, or fictional character. Side note, the fictional character thing has really thrown me for a loop in the past because I often get immersed in the lives of movie characters or fictional characters. Therefore, I have to be really specific about which movies, shows, and books that I engage in. Does this happen to anybody else? Anyways, developing empathy is important to building relationships and behaving compassionately. It involves experiencing another person's point of view rather than just one's own. It enables pro-social or helping behaviors that come from within rather than being forced. When we can see somebody else's side of the story and experience it, it is so powerful because the person feels connected to us and we feel connected to them, both emotionally and intellectually. If you're an empath, you already know that you experience the world in a unique way. Empaths have the innate ability, again, to feel other people's emotions as if they are their own. This allows them to understand people in a profound and intimate way, as well as heal emotional pain. Here's a fun fact. If you are high on empathy, then you are also high in emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence breaks down into 4 factors: self-awareness, social awareness, self-actualization, and transcendence. And empathy can be found in all of those things. Okay, so now we know what empathy is. What are some signs that you're an empath? Meaning that your feelings antenna are super aware and out and about and picking up information from the world around you. Well, today we're going to go over 8 telltale signs that you are in fact an empath. But before we go any further, please smash that like, share, and subscribe button. Sign number 1, you have a deep sense of knowing. Empaths have a deep sense of knowing that's pinpoint accurate in its description. This skill either wows people or triggers them. Sometimes it's hard to trust this feeling because you may not get validation from others that you are right. However, after your predictions become true time and again, you will learn to respect and trust the downloads of information that you are getting about others and yourself. You can pick up on the intentions of other people, what they're feeling, or things that they've done or experienced in their past. You can describe what's going on underneath the surface. I do have a suggestion for empaths and learning how to communicate this knowing feeling. Sometimes people don't want to hear the honest truth, or if they do, try to wait for the right timing where they're going to be open to hearing you, or wait until they ask you. I know you're probably super excited to get all this information and downloads out about another person. You can always diary and journal out your discoveries and keep things to yourself and watch as your predictions become true. Sign number 2, you have the ability to actually feel other people's physical pain. Empaths have the uncanny ability to feel other people's physical pain, and I mean like really feel it, like in your own body. You may know exactly where to massage your partner because you can feel the pain radiating off a certain spot, or you may know what remedies to give your friend to get over a specific cold. As a healer, I experience this sensation a lot, and when working with clients, I can see a dark cloud hovering over spots that need to be healed. I can also see where the pain is trailing and where it's originating from. I believe that empaths are gifted with the ability to feel other people's physical pain because empaths are born healers. Let me repeat that. Empaths are natural born healers. Empaths usually find jobs as doctors, nurses, coaches, anything that's going to help lift the pain off the world and connect deeply with others. Sign number 3, you are conflict avoidant. Conflict as an empath sucks. We don't like causing other people pain and discomfort. Even if you stand behind your decision in the conflict, you may often get anxiety because you caused another person to feel uncomfortable. And then the rumination begins. You may pick apart the argument, think about how you could have done better, feel super anxious about what this person is feeling and thinking. Think about the cringe-worthy things that were said about you and the direct yet accurate things that you said about the other person. Become scared that the other person is going to retaliate in some awful way. Conflict weighs heavily on an empath. I think we also have the tendency to think that the other person cares just as much as we do, but that isn't always the case. They could be off going about their life, not thinking about it at all. Remember, empaths are good at seeing the other person's point of view, but when it comes to conflict, remember to hold your own point of view to a high importance as well. Sign number 4, we tend to people please and are overly agreeable. Because empaths don't like conflict, we often choose to people please. People pleasing is putting other people's needs before our own and possibly leaving out what we actually want to do. We do this to make other people happy. We care about what they think about and because we don't want to feel vulnerable. If we say what we want, the other person might not like it, and the weight of this disagreement is heavy on an empath. For an empath, it's easier and less pressure to agree rather than disagree. This can give empaths trouble because they may lose themselves to another person's needs and desires. That is why many empaths like to spend time alone to recharge and focus on themselves and what they want to do. This is also why empaths are prone to codependency. We end up losing our identity to another person because we're scared of saying what we actually feel and desire. Sign number 5, large crowds throw you off. For an introvert empath, crowds and large gatherings outside of trusted people are exhausting and emotionally draining. For an extrovert empath, we do like going out and mingling, but the larger and wilder the crowd gets, the more we get anxiety. For an empath standing in the middle of a large crowd, it feels like the walls of energy are closing in on you, and it's hard to maintain the energetic boundaries in space. This is where empaths turn to drinking or anything to numb the feeling of getting swallowed up by another person's energy. I noticed that standing by a wall or in the back helps a lot and provides an easy exit to when you feel you need to recharge or regroup. Sign number 6. People tend to confide in you and tell you their deepest and darkest secrets. Empaths have a very nurturing and safe energy that attracts everybody to them and allows them to feel safe and confide in them or tell them their deepest and darkest truths. Empaths also have a knack for asking the right questions, as well as we are truth seekers. We continue to dig and dig and dig until we hit the core of a concern or a question. Sign number 7. You have a hard time separating your emotions from another. The boundary between your emotions and another emotions are oftentimes non-existent or super confusing to understand. This is why it can feel like we are an emotional sponge, sponging up and soaking in all of the emotions of others. If an empath hasn't spent enough time learning their own voice and understanding their own energy, other people's energy ends up getting mixed up with theirs. We are constantly picking up information about others, and it's challenging to discern what we originally think or feel without that outer influence. Because empaths are prone to being healers, we often take on responsibility for other people's emotions, which can leave us feeling super heavy. One thing I like to do is to check my energy before I hang out with somebody and after. If I wasn't feeling a particular emotion before and after I'm ruminating on it, I probably would have picked up something from that person, and then I choose to consciously let it go. And lastly, sign number 8. You care about people a lot, and you have a hard time turning this off. Again, empaths truly care about people's feelings. We don't want other people to be upset because it feels heavy on us. And as I said before, it's hard to separate our emotions from the others. So it feels like a huge and heavy weight on top of us, on our hearts. Even if the situation isn't directly related to us, it's hard to turn that light switch off and disconnect from the pain. In an ideal world for an empath, everybody would be healed and happy, but that's not the case, especially in today's world. So if you're struggling with the world's events because of all the crazy shit that's going on, you're not alone. You have to disconnect from time to time because you cannot carry the weight of the world on your shoulders all the time. All right. That's 8 telltale signs that you are in fact an empath. Did any of these signs hit home for you? Let us know in the comment section below. And stay tuned for more videos on how to turn empathy into a superpower as we take a deep dive into surviving and thriving as an empath. Subscribe, share, and like, and see you later, moodlings.